There's a hidden weakness buried deep inside every Sigma male. Not an obvious one, not something the world can see with its judging eyes and endless questions, but something far more dangerous because it hides within, in the shadows, in the silence, in the places even he refuses to look. The world has learned something crucial over time. It cannot destroy a Sigma from the outside. External pressure, he thrives under it. Social rejection, he's built for it. Criticism, isolation, mockery, these things only sharpen him, forging him into something harder, more resilient. But there exists one weakness that, if left unchecked and unexamined, can rot him from within. Every Sigma believes he's immune, fortified by logic, protected by solitude, armored by emotional discipline, until it hits. And when it does, it's silent, invisible, and absolute. Chapter 1: The Architecture of Sigma Strength. To understand the vulnerability, we must first understand the fortress. Sigma males derive their power from a rare psychological trait, the capacity for constructive solitude. Research published in the Journal of Affective Disorders confirms that individuals who intentionally embrace solitude, when done with positive intent, experience enhanced emotional regulation, increased creativity, and deeper self-awareness. Their strength emerges from genuine independence, not the reactive avoidance of those who fear connection, but the deliberate choice of those who've discovered that true power originates internally, not socially. Studies from the American Psychological Association reveal that self-sufficient individuals demonstrate superior stress management and maintain more stable emotional baselines compared to those dependent on external validation. They master their emotions through observation rather than suppression. They choose logic over impulse, strategy over reaction, silence over explanation. They operate outside society's noise, the validation cycles, the status competitions, the desperate need to be seen, heard, approved. According to psychological research on autonomy, this independence creates what researchers call psychological freedom, the ability to act according to internal values rather than external pressures. This makes them formidable, unpredictable, untouchable. But here's the fundamental truth that echoes through psychology, philosophy, and every study of human nature. Every strength carries a shadow. And in that shadow, in the blind spot created by his own power, lies the seed of his potential destruction. Chapter 2: The Paradox of Attachment. The one weakness that can compromise any Sigma male is emotional attachment without awareness. Not love. Love, when conscious and chosen, represents strength. Not loyalty. Loyalty, when earned and reciprocated, embodies honor. But attachment, the silent addiction to someone or something that slips past the Sigma's defenses like smoke through a crack. Psychology draws a critical distinction here. Research from Psychology Today identifies that love radiates outward, focusing on the other person's well-being and growth, while attachment echoes inward, serving primarily one's own need for security, validation, and emotional completion. Love asks, "How can I support your growth?" Attachment demands, "How can you fill my emptiness?" It begins quietly, almost beautifully. A connection that feels genuine, a person who seems to understand him in ways others never have. The Sigma, so accustomed to being misunderstood, finally feels seen. In that moment of recognition, his guard drops, just slightly, just enough. Studies on emotional dependency published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology reveal a dangerous progression.
What begins as healthy connection can evolve into codependency when one's peace, identity, or self-worth becomes contingent on another person's presence or behavior. The man who once stood emotionally self-sufficient now checks his phone compulsively, waits anxiously for responses, adjusts his behavior to maintain approval. His focus, once laser-sharp, begins to drift. His peace, once self-generated, starts depending on external factors. His solitude, once his sanctuary, transforms into loneliness when that person isn't near. His decisions begin bending around this attachment. His boundaries soften, his standards lower. And just like that, the man who once stood untouchable becomes emotionally compromised.
Chapter 3. The Manipulation Mechanism. The world understands something fundamental. Conventional control methods don't work on Sigma males. Rules don't bind them. Authority doesn't intimidate them. Social pressure doesn't move them. So the world deploys a more sophisticated weapon: emotional manipulation through attachment. Research on manipulation tactics from the Bay Area CBT Center identifies key strategies used to compromise independent individuals: love bombing to create rapid emotional dependency, gaslighting to erode trust in one's own perception, and strategic withdrawal to create anxiety around potential abandonment. These tactics don't attack logic. That fortress remains impenetrable. They invade the heart, the one territory left unguarded because he believed it didn't need protection. It begins subtly. The wrong woman who mirrors his depth but weaponizes his vulnerability. The wrong friend who admires his strength but gradually erodes his standards. The wrong cause that appeals to his principles but enslaves his energy. According to WebMD's analysis of manipulation signs, these connections follow a consistent pattern. They identify your weaknesses, they exploit them systematically, and they make you dependent while denying any manipulation is occurring. Once emotion clouds vision, manipulation begins its quiet work. The Sigma loses what once made him powerful: his capacity to observe without attachment, his ability to walk away without fear, guilt, or hesitation. He becomes chained not by force, but by feeling. And chains forged from emotion prove hardest to break, because breaking them feels like betraying yourself. Chapter 4. The Warning Signs. How do you recognize when the trap has sprung? The signs manifest subtly,
Please,
almost
you have
invisibly.
to understand.
But if you practice radical honesty,
Sometimes
that brutally
staying silent
uncomfortable
is the hardest
self-examination,
choice you can make.
you'll see them clearly. You begin explaining your silence. The Sigma who never felt compelled to justify his nature suddenly finds himself defending why he needs space, why he values alone time, why he operates differently. Research on boundary erosion indicates this represents the first stage of identity compromise.
Everyone can see it.
You start justifying your detachment.
You're
Where
a
once you
failure.
simply were, now you feel the need to explain it, to them and to yourself. You begin needing validation from people who once meant nothing. Their approval becomes addictive. Their opinions heavier than they deserve. Their moods dictate your internal weather. You start caring about opinions you previously ignored. The noise you once filtered effortlessly now penetrates your awareness. Comments linger. Judgments sting. Disapproval unsettles your peace. You start compromising on the things you once swore were sacred. Boundaries you called absolute become flexible. Standards once unshakable become situational. Principles once solid become complicated. According to clinical research published in Very Well Mind, the clearest indicator of unhealthy attachment
appears when your emotional state depends on another person's behavior, when their text determines your mood, when their presence dictates your contentment, when their absence creates anxiety, instead of simply creating space. That's when the fall begins. That's when the Sigma, master of his internal world, has surrendered the controls to someone else.
Chapter 5. The Path to Reclamation. But here's what the world rarely reveals, what most won't discover until it's too late. Awareness functions as the Sigma's ultimate shield, not avoidance, not emotional shutdown, not retreating into cold isolation. Awareness. Research from Nature on emotional regulation demonstrates that recognizing patterns before they become pathological represents the most effective intervention strategy. Observe your emotions as data, valuable information about what matters to you, but never worship them as commands. Emotions inform action. They don't dictate it. Recognize attachment before it metastasizes into addiction. Feel the critical difference between connection and dependence. Studies on healthy relationships published in Psychology Today reveal that secure attachment empowers both individuals to become more authentically themselves, while unhealthy attachment requires people to change, stay, validate, or complete each other. Detach, not from love, but from dependence. You can love deeply without needing. You can connect profoundly without clinging. You can value someone without making them your access. Mindfulness research from the National Institutes of Health confirms that detached observation of emotions, witnessing them without being controlled by them, strengthens emotional resilience and decision-making capacity. Remember this fundamental truth. Love is freedom, not control. If what you feel empowers both people to grow individually while choosing to grow together, it's love. But if what you feel requires someone to change, stay, validate, or complete you, it's attachment disguised as love. The moment you can walk away from anything, not from coldness, but from self-respect, you reclaim your power. The moment you love someone but don't need them to maintain your peace, you've mastered the game that destroys most men.
Outro. The eternal choice. Every Sigma male stands at a crossroads that repeats throughout his life, a decision that defines whether he rules his existence or surrenders it, to be ruled by emotion or to master it, to serve his peace or to surrender it, to guard his sovereignty or to trade it for temporary comfort. The world cannot break you from the outside. History has proven this again and again. External forces fail against men who've internalized their power. But you can break yourself from within by allowing attachment masquerading as love to compromise the fortress you built through discipline, sacrifice, and solitude. Protect your mind. It remains your greatest weapon, your primary defense, your ultimate asset. Guard your emotions, not against feeling them, but against being ruled by them. Embrace healthy connection while maintaining your center. Love freely while remaining whole. And never, never let attachment disguise itself as love. Because the moment you confuse the two, you've handed the world the one weapon it needs to destroy what nothing else could touch: your freedom, your independence, your sovereignty, your peace. The choice, as always, remains yours.